Hey, my name's Trevor and welcome to my channel, Airbnb Max Profit. Really appreciate you tuning in. I hope you enjoy the content. I'm going to show you how to manage your nightly rate so that you're always advertising and charging the highest dollar amount you possibly can. What is the highest number that you can advertise, the highest nightly rate you can advertise for your property and still book? We're always trying to answer that question, and I'm going to show you the theory and the practice, but first, let's dive into some key terms that you have to understand before we can really dive into that part. All right, so market penetration index and RAM, MPI and RAM. Those are two key terms that you have to understand. These are two terms that we use to determine our nightly rates, all right? So market penetration index is the multiplier that you apply to the market to get to your revenue, looking back any particular month. So if we look back last month and the market did 50% occupancy on average, and you did 50% occupancy, your MPI is 1. If you multiply the market by 1, you get your occupancy, all right? If the market is 50% and you're 75%, your MPI is 1.5. 1.5 times 50 is 75%, all right? So you generally want to be higher than the market, but not too high. We'll dive into that in a bit. Second key term you got to understand is RAM, revenue against market. It's a multiplier just like MPI, it is an index. The market, if your set of competitors in your market did $5,000 on average in revenue for a month, and you also did 5,000 that month, your RAM is 1. If they did 5,000 and you did 10,000, your RAM is 2. We want to make RAM as high as possible. What is the highest that it can possibly be? What is the extent that you beat the market? I don't know of a better way to measure yourself, so that is what we use. And before we dive into the practice and into the math of how we arrive at the highest possible RAM your property is capable of, which is what we're going to identify. First, let's touch on the key success factors for revenue that you earn on your property. All right. The number one thing you can do is pricing management. Why is that? Because this has been studied by a few large organizations. I've done the math myself. It's pretty obvious that 50% of your revenue comes from just how you manage your nightly rates, how you manage your pricing. Okay. The other 50% is a smorgasbord of things, including how big is the house, how many bedrooms do you have, how many bathrooms do you have a pool, do you have games, how good is the photography, etc., etc. The list goes on. But all of that is half of the equation, and then this one thing, how well you manage your nightly rates, is half of where your revenue is going to come from. So let's dive in to how we maximize that part